Time for the only radio show of its kind. Auctioneers of antiques, collectors of cool, veterans of vintage. It's the Donley Auctions Hour on AM 560, The Answer. For the next hour, enjoy great information about buying and selling antiques and collectibles, and some interesting stories. Now, the Donley Auctions Hour.
Welcome to the Donley Auctions Hour. Thank you for joining us. We're here every Saturday at 1 o'clock. Hi, I'm Susan. I'm here with Mike Donley today, and Randy Donley will join us on the phone. We're the owners of Donley Auctions in Union, Illinois. We're just 60 miles west of Chicago, folks, and we're here today to help you determine whether or not you have valuables at home that you may want to sell at auction. But first, we want to wish everyone a happy Memorial Day weekend. Hope you're outside enjoying this beautiful weather. Good morning, Mike Donley.
Good morning, Susan and Randy. And I would just like to mention about Memorial Day weekend. We always think of it as a holiday where we can go out and picnic and such and have a good time. It's kind of the launch of summer. But the actual Memorial Day is to honor the dead that died in our wars for our freedoms. It started just after the Civil War, the American Civil War, by the Grand Army of the Republic, which was a veterans organization to honor the Civil War dead. And it was originally called Decoration Day. And it was made called Decoration Day because they would literally spread flowers and decorate the graves of the veterans. In the Memorial Day weekend wasn't in May. They could celebrate it. Local chapters could celebrate it whenever they wanted to. May became popular because that's when all the flowers were in bloom, and the women who were with the GAR, the Women's Relief Corps arm of the GAR, would spread the flowers, the spring flowers on the graves. Wow. And after World War I, they decided, well, we can honor all the dead from all wars after. And starting World War I, then it's slowly changed to Memorial Day, and they focused on the May 30th, which was the last one of the last days of May, and that became Memorial Day weekend.
I'll be darned. Well, thank you for that bit of information, and thank you to all of those who have served. As always, we appreciate your service. I did say that to a veteran the other day, and he looked at me and he said, "You were worth it." Wow, I had a tear in my eye after that. That was a good response for sure. But hi, Randy, you there? Randy's on the line with us today. He's out and about doing a million things.
I'd like to jump in there and say that, so everybody understands, GAR was the Grand Army of the Republic, which was a veterans organization after the Civil War. So, a lot of people don't know what GAR necessarily was, but also GAR is highly collectible today because along with Civil War collecting, any of the actual Civil War items, the war that took place here in the States from 1861 to 1865, the GAR items are collectible on their own, highly.
Well, speaking of the military and wars, we had the military auction last weekend, and we wanted to just give everyone a little bit of the highlights of how things went, what sold for great amounts, and things we're looking for our next gun and military auction coming up in a few months. So some of the highlights, Mike, do you want to start with some of the great things we sold?
Yeah, I think on Saturday on the guns, the guns were sold strong with the prices for World War II and World War II American weapons like M1 Garands and carbines, the 1911 45 automatic pistols. Those are still very strong. I think you have some of the prices on.
I do.
Some of
the 1912 U.S. Army Colt pistol sold for $4,000.
That's a good price.
So that's a really good price, right? And then several of the rifles went anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000. So with that in mind, we are still consigning firearms to our next auction. You got to email us at consign@donleyauctions.com. Just send us some brief information and some photos, and we'll let you talk to Neil, our gun expert.
Yeah, and I want to remind everybody, we are licensed firearm dealers, so we handle all the paperwork for you to help you sell your firearms legally and to reach the best audience to get the best prices for you.
That's right, and one of Neil's main job is to ensure that the ATF is happy.
That's correct.
We told the line, yes. Boy, he is so strict. You make one wrong mistake on any form, boom, you got to redo it all. He's fantastic.
And, again, if I could just jump in, I know I'm at a remote location, so I don't know time-wise or anything, but I always like to remind everybody when we're selling firearm collections how much work we do for widows, because so often, men collected weapons, and their wives don't necessarily know what they paid for these things, and sometimes they didn't necessarily tell the women the truth either. They might have said, "Oh, honey, I got this for a few $100, when a few hundred could have been, a few thousand. And ladies really need help so often to price these collections and everything, and they can't just let a bunch of people in the house and sell stuff off because, again, they won't know the value. That's what we can really shine and help, especially widows who unfortunately don't know the values and exactly how to sell these things.
Is it okay to say that we're your guys when your husband dies, or no?
Well, it is our slogan.
I think
some people like it, some
all.
people don't. But
seriously, we take care of them.
It's so true.
Yeah. So again, give us a call at 815-923-7000, and we'll tell you how to get started. We'll even send Neil and or Randy out there to your home to pick up everything safely. So no worries there.
Yeah, and then
Absolutely.
Sunday, the military portion of our auction, the World War II items, once again, they were strong, especially with the documented groups leading the pack. That Lieutenant Robert Cran's fighter pilot uniform, that brought $900, which was pretty good for that. I mean, that's the type of things you usually see hanging at garage sales for $10 and $15. Right. So they'll be happy with that. And the Africa Corps group bring back by the Chicago and Charles Pica, the World War II veteran that sent it home from Africa. That brought, what, $4,500?
$4,500 for that.
Yeah,
wow.
But that was a great grouping.
Well, and I'd like to say that, that was a small little box. It was a small cardboard box that a GI sent home from the war that had a helmet and a few bayonets and just a small smattering of items. And I'm telling you, those are the kind of boxes that people look at and say, oh, I don't know, $100, $200. They're guessing at their garage sales. And again, here it's selling for thousands of dollars. You cannot guess, ladies and gentlemen, on prices. You have to get these things evaluated. There's too much money at stake.
And the documentation of that item, too. It had the original box that was sent home, where most people might look at that and say, oh, this is junk, and throw the box away. That helped the value tremendously.
Well, speaking of that, too, remember a box came in of some other items, and Neil was fishing through there and found a pocket knife.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that sold at auction for $2,000. It was a case model 4-blade pocket knife. $2,000 just in a box of like random weird things. So,
and that's where our job pays off for you, because of stuff like that would have gone to garage sales for 50 cents or $1 or $2. We recognize the value of those items. That's why you need us to look at your items before you sell them.
Well,
do we have time? Do we have time for another short story?
Go ahead, Randy. We love your stories.
Okay, real quick. Mike and I bought a collection of antique toy Heartland horses once off of a couple women, and all these horses had the original boxes with them and everything. And Mike and I were taking pictures of them, and we took all of the toys out of the boxes and had the boxes off to the side. And the next day, we're looking all over for the boxes. Where are the boxes? And one of our staff members said, "Oh, I threw those away. They were in old condition. They looked like junk.
They're all beat up." Yeah.
Yeah. The
boxes were worth more than the toys in them.
Oh my gosh.
One of our staff threw them away, not knowing. But that won't ever happen again. That young
they know
man
now.
has learned, and
they don't touch anything.
That's a good point. You don't throw any boxes away for anything, no matter what condition they're in, because a lot of times even boxes can be reproduced from bits and pieces of boxes that don't exist anywhere else.
Sometimes we have Ziploc baggies with just little pieces of cardboard.
We do, yeah.
We save it all. You never know, right? So lesson of the day, save your boxes for sure. All right. What else we got going on, Randy?
Well, I'm off at a remote location today. I'm actually helping my kids with a garage sale, but at their house. But we're always looking for military relics and firearms. I know we've got way more to talk about in the other segments today, but, as long as we're talking military and we respect and love all of our vets, if you've got anything in uniforms or weapons, call us.
That's right. And the number again, write this down. It's 815-923-7000. Better yet, email us at consign, CONSIGN, at DonleyAuctions.com. Just a brief description and some photos of what you have, and we will definitely contact you with the next steps because we're going to keep it simple. And we want you to downsize this year. It's 2024. Time to get rid of your stuff, folks. Give us a call at 815-923-7000. We're going to be talking about some of the other auctions we have coming up next and the upcoming phonograph and radio auction. Oh, my gosh, that's in just a few weeks. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Donley Auctions Hour right here on AM 560, The Answer.
They've been called auctioneers of antiques, collectors of cool, even veterans of vintage. And they can introduce themselves. Thanks for listening. This is the Donley Auctions Hour on AM 560, The Answer.
Welcome back to the Donley Auctions Hour. I'm Susan, co-owner of Donley Auctions, here with Mike Donley. We're just 60 miles west of Chicago, folks, and happy Memorial Day weekend to everyone out there today. The weather's beautiful. I hope you're enjoying it.
Yeah, we have a big auction coming up June 12th and 13th.
We're still working this weekend.
Yeah, we're still working.
We're still working.
The phonograph, it's actually phonographs, music boxes, and radios coming up Wednesday and Thursday, June 12th and 13th.
Are we still taking consignments for that?
What
do you think?
I think we're pretty much done. Yeah,
I think we're too late on that one.
But if you have them, we will have other auctions coming up for them. So don't hesitate to send those photos in. Love looking at all your photos that you keep sending. So this auction is going to feature vintage phonographs going back to the days of cylinder phonographs. For those of you not familiar with them, the records were tube shaped. They were called cylinder records. That was the first type of records. Around 1900, Emil Berliner developed the flat record, or the disc record as we know it today, to get around some of the patent infringements if he would have come up with a cylinder record of his own. So the disc record was developed, and that's pretty much what everybody's familiar with today. They evolved into the vinyl records. But the phonographs we're going to be dealing with...
Can I interrupt you real quick?
Sure.
I was just found something the other day that Emil Berliner's birthday was on May 20th.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay.
Just a little bit of information there that everybody needs today. All right, go ahead. I don't know how old he was, but he died in 1929.
He was also the inventor of the helicopter.
78.
He was also the inventor of the helicopter,
Oh,
too.
no kidding.
Yeah, so he had a very diverse career.
Wow.
So the phonographs we're going to be selling are anything from the cylinder phonographs from the late 1800s, evolving into the disc records, the ones with the horns that you might be familiar with if you've ever seen a Grammy. The Grammy Awards were modeled after an early horned phonograph, a disc phonograph. We will evolve then from the phonographs into radios. We have some very, very great early radios there. And then music boxes also. These are like the small jewelry music boxes that you have at home. These are giant. These are big. Play big steel discs.
27-inch round.
Metal cylinders.
Metal
and such.
cylinders. Yeah.
So the fun thing about phonographs and music boxes and radios is unlike most antiques, they play music. They're very useful. A lot of people refer to these type of antiques as talking furniture because of they're not only beautiful to look at, but they're very functional too. And you can still get a lot of great music, usually at garage sales and stuff, to play on these phonographs. If you're under the age of, let's say, 50, you probably have never even seen one of these phonographs. And I really hope you go up on our website and take a look at them. And better yet, I would hope you would come to the auction just to see these and be able to experience them, because you'll get hooked on these and you'll want one for your own.
I remember at the Wild West Town used to give demonstrations.
That's correct.
Of the phonographs. So maybe you could do that for us, too.
We have my dad's phonograph collection there, and we started a lot of collectors on the path because, again, once you hear one, you got to have one.
And I think you know about every song on all those records, too. I hear you. You played
Well,
them
yeah,
all the time.
I was
You grew
raised
up
on
with
that
them,
music from
right?
a little boy. I was raised on it. So,
Oh,
yeah.
my gosh. No, I was raised more on 45 RPMs, that's for sure.
So, so some of the other things that are coming in, we just had talking about the music boxes. We have some very, very expensive music boxes that have come in. Now, music boxes, when they first came out, they were mainly for wealthy people. I mean, the average person couldn't afford one because they were a very expensive instrument. So we have one just came in a couple of days ago, and we've posted a picture of it on our website for you to take a look at. It's called a Stella Orchestrion Grand. Now, there's only 3 of these known, and this is one of the 3. This has been in a private collection for the last 47 years, and it came in with a few other music boxes out of the collection. The collection is being dissolved, and it is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Now, I don't want to mislead anybody and make them think that, you're going to grab this music box for $500 or $1,000. This is a very expensive piece, but it shows you the high end. It's just incredible. There's nothing like I've ever seen before.
The thing is huge. How big is that? Do you know?
It stands over 4 feet tall.
That's amazing. I've never seen anything like it.
We posted a picture with one of our girls standing next to it.
Yeah, that's a big one. I think it took 4 people to move it.
All carved up. It's just absolutely magnificent. Now, that will not be in our June auction. That came in too late, but that's going to be in our August auction.
Yeah, we want some time to promote that one for sure.
But it will be there. If you come out to the phonograph auction, you will see it there. And it's just a great education to come out and see all these machines and learn a little bit about it.
And also part of this auction are the radios. We have a huge radio collection coming up on Wednesday, June 12th. So the phonographs are on Thursday, the 13th, but then we're going to do radios and stereo components and some miscellaneous things like that on Wednesday.
And it's funny, most of these radios came out of collections, and they are working. So they're still, you can tune in stations and listen to them. I mean, radios, some of the names of the radios are, Philco, RCA, Westinghouse, and in fact, RCA, Susan knows a little bit about this.
A little bit of information, too. But what I want to say about those radios, they're just, again, decorative pieces of furniture. I have a friend who has one who put a Bluetooth speaker behind it. It's just a beautiful piece that if it doesn't work, you can still, set it on the counter for sure. But I wanted to learn a little bit more about RCA. They were founded in 1919. Here's your little education for the day by David Sarnoff. They called him the General. He was in World War II. He was named as a brigadier general. But they mainly focused on the radio technology that was happening back in the 1900s. And then several decades later, they evolved and introduced the first 45 RPM record. Now, the first commercially released 45 record was, and I'll give you that answer in the next segment. So any of you who might think you know the answer to that trivia question, let me know. However, the very first pressed record that was made was called Pee-wee the Piccolo in 1948. But the question of the day is, who was the first commercially released record in 1949? All right, that's that question.
And speaking of records, we will have a record auction coming up later this year, too. We have literally hundreds of thousands of records, both cylinder and 78 RPM and 45 RPM records. We tell people, don't throw your records away. But it's kind of like a lottery ticket.
Right.
You can have 100,000 records, and there might be 5 that are worth money in there. But those that are worth money can be worth thousands of dollars.
Let me tell you a little bit about that, because I didn't think we were going to talk about that. But I looked up the most rare and valuable 45 RPM records, and these are recent sales. A song called Do I Love You by Frank Wilson sold for $37,000. That's $37,000 for a record. But then the second highest one was Love Me Do by the Beatles, and that sold for $20,000. And, of course, my favorite is That's All Right by Elvis, sold for $11,000. So, again, you're right. It's like finding a lottery ticket amongst them all.
And even those titles themselves, they were released many times. So you have to find them on the original specific labels and certain – there's always there's pressing numbers on the records and such will add to the value. There's a lot that goes into it. So if you just find a Love Me Do, doesn't mean it's worth $20,000.
That's right. We don't want to mislead anybody, but there's a lot that goes into that.
But again, they're out there. Those records are out there, and they turn up at garage sales. I can't tell you how many times people come in, bring in stuff for the auction that they just picked up at a garage sale, and they'll laugh. Look at this! I just paid $5 for this, and a month later we're handing them a check for $500.
That happened at the military auction. He found a helmet, a military helmet at a garage sale. I don't know, $15, and sold it for a lot.
Yeah, it's just amazing. That's why you got to have stuff at auctions, and we'll talk about that later, too.
Yeah, we'll talk about why you should put things in an auction versus just selling it on eBay or in a garage sale or an estate sale. But in the meantime, again, I want to give you our phone number. It's 815-923-7000. If you do have any of these items to consign, phonographs, radios, coin-op machines, music boxes, guns and military for sure, send us an email at consign@donleyauctions.com.
Yeah, and you can just send us the pictures. You can even send us pictures on your phone. I mean, Randy and I do that all day long, look at people sending stuff in.
Well, let me give you the answer to the trivia question, okay? The first commercially released 45 RPM record, they say, was Texarkana Baby by Eddie Arnold in 1949.
Well, go check your 45, see if you have one there.
You probably know that song, too. No. It's way too old for me. But anyway, radio's coming up June 12th. Phonographs and music boxes coming up June 13th. Don't go anywhere, folks. We're going to talk about another auction coming up in August, which I find very interesting. You know how we always have a spring classic and a fall classic? We're going to do a summer classic in August. We'll tell you more about that coming up next. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Donley Auctions Hour right here every Saturday at 1 o'clock on AM 560, The Answer. Oh, good.
You're listening to the Donley Auctions Hour on AM 560, The Answer.
Welcome back to the Donley Auctions Hour. I'm Susan here with Mike Donley. We're with Donley Auctions in Union, Illinois. We're talking about some upcoming auctions we have. We usually have about one or two a month, and we want to make sure everybody has enough time to think about putting some stuff up for auction. We're going to tell you why you would want to do that. And but before we do that, Mike, I want to talk about watch fobs. There's an interesting topic, just an eclectic collection we have of thousands of watch fobs coming up June 27th.
Yeah, this was one man's collection out of Minnesota. Like you say, he had thousands of watch fobs. June 27th is an online auction only, so I think we will have a viewing day on it, but all the bidding will take place online. I think it's up already, isn't it?
Yes.
You can go and view it online and see all the
Go to DonleyAuctions.com and you'll see all the watch fobs.
Yeah, so for people that don't know what watch fobs are,
I had to ask, yeah.
It's kind of like, you have a key fob for on your keys. Well, pocket watches were in fashion before wristwatches in the mid to late 1800s, and you had a special pocket on your pants. If you look at your jeans today on the right-hand side, the upper side, that's a little pocket there. That was the watch pocket for your pocket watch. And if you had a coat or a vest, there was always a small pocket in there. So it was very difficult sometimes to get your fingers in there to pull your watch out. So you had a small leather strap with a decorative metal fob on it, much like your key fobs are today. They became very fashionable in the late 1800s up until the early 1900s. And they advertised different products, tractors, automobiles, sewing machines, anything. You could have a watch fob, but companies made watch fobs for any items. And they became collectible. And today there's literally tens of thousands of different watch fobs. In fact, there's actually a watch fob. There's a couple clubs. There's the International Watch Fob Collectors Association, and then there's the National Watch Fob
in the Midwest one too. There's a
Midwest one. There's several chapters.
In Canada.
And so, I mean, you can Google these things and learn more about them and come up on our auction site and you'll see them. I mean, and they sell all over the board. You'll be able to find a nice decorative watch fob for $10, and you'll go on up into the hundreds of dollars for watch fobs.
What do you think, Mike, factors in the value of it? Is it what they're made out of, the company name, where the show was held?
No,
what do you think would be the value of it?
I think certain products, early John Deere things will sell well. Any type of obscure products. when you get into the later ones where all the different machinery and tractors, there's literally hundreds of thousands, if not millions of some of those. So some of the real obscure products, I was looking at one the other day for some wheat company, milled wheat. And, those things sell for, $150.
My favorite, I've been working on this collection too, and we just found some more, so we have a lot to add. But some of my favorite ones were with the locomotives on there. They have the trains and
and that would have been
the old Ford cars and
that would have been popular among engineers and conductors and such to have a railroad watch fob on their railroad pocket watch.
Okay, good to know.
And pocket watches went out of fashion right at World War I because of they couldn't fumble around in the trenches for their pocket watch, so they actually took small women's pocket watches and soldered lugs on them and strapped them to their wrists, and that's how their wristwatch became.
Come on, really?
Yep, World War I.
Wow, I did not know that. It's good to know. But the watch fob auction is online only, and it's coming up June 27th. So you got plenty of time to take a look at the catalog. Right now we have about 1,000 items online. We'll be adding more, I think, or we're going to hold a second one. Who knows? But just an idea of some of the eclectic things that come through Donley Auctions. I don't know. Every day it's something different, isn't it?
Oh.
We never know what to expect.
Yeah, that old
Chasing history, that's for sure. Real quick, we want to touch on one of my favorite auctions coming up. Friday, July 19th is the sports cars, Ferrari signs, and race car memorabilia auction in Lake Forest. Holy cow. What do you want to say about that?
It's going to be unbelievable. I mean, if you want things for your man cave, you're never going to have an opportunity. Again, these are things that Mr. Mancuso has collected for many years through his dealership. I mean, and to be able to buy a Ferrari engine and put a glass top on it for a cocktail table, who's going to top that?
Right.
I mean, there's just some incredible. And the
signage
these signs, and things.
They're all pristine and immaculate condition. And then, of course, we have the Mario Andretti race car and the Tom Petty. Not Tom Petty. I have music on my mind, that's for sure. Richard Petty's race car.
Mm-hmm. And it's a beauty. That came right out of the
Petty
museum,
probably
too.
Did have a race car. Oh, my gosh. So we're looking forward to that. This one's going to be on site in Lake Forest, and it is invitation only because we can only fit like 50 people in there.
Yeah,
so you got to call us.
It's on a Friday night, too.
It's correct? On a Friday night, yeah. I'm not sure of the time, but 6, 7 o'clock. It's only a couple hundred items. But, man, you guys got to come out and check this out. So email us at consign@donleyauctions.com or call us at 815-923-7000 if you want to be put on the guest list. And who needs a Ferrari today? I'm sure somebody out
Everybody
should have a Ferrari. It's on my wish list for my big birthday coming up. But anyway, that's happening at Donley Auctions in July. And again, I mentioned that we're having our Summer Classic in August. This is where we want to start getting some of these amazing coin-op machines and advertising pieces in for that. So we're still taking consignments for that. Email us at consign@donleyauctions.com. We're going to give you some more information on that coming up next. Anything else to add, Mike? Nope. All right, good. Thanks for listening, everybody. Don't go anywhere. We're not done yet. You're listening to the Donley Auctions Hour right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Now, more of the Donley Auctions Hour on AM 560, The Answer.
We're back with the Donley Auctions Hour. Thanks for sticking with us during that break. I'm Susan. I'm the co-owner of Donley Auctions, here with Mike Donley. And we're located just 60 miles west of Chicago. And we have several auctions coming up this summer that we're inviting you to come on out to Donley Auctions in Union, 8512 South Union Road in Union, Illinois.
Well, our Summer Classic, it's going to be our first Summer Classic. We have a Fall Classic and a Spring Classic, which handles all the coin-op machines and advertising and just really cool memorabilia. So we had so much stuff coming in, thanks to all the people that listen to our show, that we had to launch a Summer Classic because we're bursting at the seams with merchandise there. And it is just, some of the best I've ever seen is coming in. I'm looking at a list here right now. We're going to have the only known standing Mr. Peanut roaster. I think do we have that posted online already?
Oh, we sure do. Yes.
Oh, it is just the coolest thing.
Why is it so rare? Tell us a little bit about it so people can get an idea of what it looks like.
Well,
it's a peanut roaster. It's huge.
It's an advertising piece that was placed in stores showing Mr. Peanut, the iconic Mr. Peanut figure, standing by a miniature peanut roaster, all copper and nickel, and he's made to look like he's actually cranking the peanut roaster. So it's a mechanical device to catch people's eyes, but it is just beyond rare. It's the only one known, so it's going to be exciting to see what that goes for. We have pinball machines coming in. We've got slot machines coming in this week. We have more jukeboxes, advertising signs, the old porcelain signs and such like that. And in fact, one of the craziest things, but one of my favorite things just came in last week was the lifeguard stand from the Chicago Beach. It was from the 1950s.
I did not see that.
Oh, you haven't seen that back there?
I haven't seen that yet.
The big old wood lifeguard stand.
Oh, come on. Really?
And there's a picture of the guy when he was the lifeguard.
How old is it?
It's from the 50s.
From the 50s, okay.
Yeah, so it's really cool.
I'll be darned.
For whatever reason, he decided to take the lifeguard stand home with him when he was done with his lifeguard duty. So here,
nobody noticed that?
So here
Excuse me,
it is.
sir. What is that in your pocket? Oh, gosh.
So here it is. So some of the other things we are looking for, obviously old cars and motorcycles, old gas and oil signs, gas pumps, advertising signs, coin-op games, pinball machines, slot machines, old soda machines, anything advertising.
Well, anybody driving past the Wild West town, we're out in Union, there is a line of vehicles out in front, and people keep asking us, what is going on with all of those cars? Well, those were a barn find. You can give us some more information on that. And those are going to be coming up in our August auction as well.
Mm-hmm. It's one man's collection, and we've got them out there on display right now.
It's like 12 cars.
Yeah, 12 or 13. Yeah,
something.
Anything from Volkswagens. We got two Beetles, including a convertible Beetle, 2 Volkswagen buses. We've got 2 Mustangs there, including a 67 with a 351, a 67 convertible with a 351 in it. We've got some 1940s Fords. We have an old Army Ford truck out there.
Well, you didn't mention my favorite one. It's the Ford Pinto.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. It's so cute.
And low mileage, it's a beauty.
It really is. They were literally in a barn.
Mm-hmm. Yep, they were literally in a barn.
Okay.
And
definitely need restoration, but I think the body on some of those needs some work, and some of them are in good shape.
Some of them are in great shape. They were driven up until a few years ago. Some of them have fairly recent license plates on them, like 3-4 years ago. So, like Susan said, a lot of them need restoration. But, these are the way you want to find them, especially if you want to do a father and son project.
Well, that's what happened the other day. My friend Brian, hi, Brian, he came in with his son, who is 15 and is looking for a starter project. Mm-hmm. And they were looking at that Ford. It's ready to start all over from the ground up, and they might be working on that together.
That'd be great. That's how I started. My dad got me a 65 Mustang convertible, and that's...
Did you work on it?
I had to rebuild the engine. That's how I learned. Yeah, that's how I learned.
I did not know you were mechanical, Mr. Donley.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
You can do everything, that's for sure. But what a great project for the kids. And, well, we need people with those skills nowadays, too. So I'm encouraging you dads out there, come on out. Donley Auctions in Union, Illinois.
So the Summer Classic is Saturday and Sunday, August 17th and 18th. So we are still taking consignments for that. In fact, our trucks have been on the road all week doing pickups. And we travel all over the place. We don't just stay around the Chicago area. We had the guys up in Green Bay, Wisconsin last week picking up phonographs and music boxes. And right. I think next week they got to go, or very soon we have to go down to South Carolina to pick up a big collection too.
Goodness.
So we are all over. So if you know people from other states even that need to get rid of their items, give us a call because we'll be happy to travel.
Yeah, we'll be happy to travel. And, one thing we always need at our auctions is a bar and back bar.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so anybody who owns a saloon establishment and needs to get rid of stuff, these guys can dismantle a bar in no time.
Yeah, people...
They do it all the time like it's no big deal.
Yeah, and a lot of these bars also went into homes. So some of these big old man caves and such in the homes that are being disassembled right now. So they don't have to even come out of the original locations. We will come to your home and disassemble them too.
I know. You guys make it sound like it's like no big deal. And I see these big, huge pieces of wood being moved in and moved out, and it's just amazing the work we all do here at Donley Auctions. So if you have a bar, a back bar, coin-op machines, arcade machines, pinball, slots, cars, you name it, we can sell it for you. send us an email at consign@donleyauctions.com or give us a call at 815-923-7000. I had a gentleman yesterday. He was just frustrated and couldn't send the pictures in an email. I said, stop. Don't worry about it. Send them to me in a text. We'll figure it out. Whatever is easiest for you. We try to keep the process very simple. Give us a call. We'll walk you through the next steps. And, of course, we're very honest. We'll tell you right up if we can sell it or not and its value. But don't go anywhere. We're going to talk about why you should put items in an auction. Don't go anywhere. Donley Auctions. AM 560, The Answer.
The Donley Auctions Hour continues now on AM 560, The Answer.
We are back with the Donley Auctions Hour talking about items you may have at home that are of value that you might want to put in an auction. I'm Susan here with Mike Donley. Randy Donley's on the phone. Hi, Randy.
Hey, Susan and Mike. I wanted to mention to everybody on the air, just to remind them that the Wild West Town property that we've owned for 50-plus years is still for sale. It's a perfect event center and everything. But I just got off the phone with a client calling about that, and he said to me, please, please, please find me some Wild West memorabilia. He said, I'm always collecting Old West and Wild West items. And even though we're promoting to all of our friends, in the Chicago suburbs and everything, we do go in all 50 states now. So I want to remind everybody that we're also looking for Old West memorabilia.
Yeah, and this particular client you're talking about, I know who you mean, and he is not looking for nickel-dime stuff. He wants the best of the best. So if you have the best of the best, he's,
Well, exactly, Mike. I mean, if you had Wyatt Earp's pistol or Buffalo Bill's saddle or really high-end good stuff, we have clients, and he's not the only one. We have clients for that. And I will say in all antique collecting today that the best is always still bringing big money, whereas middle of the road and average items, it's getting harder and harder to sell because there's too much of it flooding on the market. So always the best.
Well,
yeah.
Randy, you bring up a good point, too, because we're always asking for consignments. What do you want to sell? And, hey, we got stuff you want to buy. But we should also be encouraging people, if there's things they're looking for, let us know, because we have eyes out there on lots of different things in different places.
Well, we certainly do.
I got a call from a gentleman to alert me to the fact that somewhere in the Chicago area there are two early Evanston license plates floating around for sale. Now, somebody's trying to sell these, and they don't know where to go. These are from like 1906, 1908. These are very early license plates, and they're worth thousands of dollars. So I'm appealing, if you hear us, if you know who this person is, have them call us. We don't want them to find out later that they sold them for $50 and they were worth thousands of dollars.
Well, tell them about our license plate auctions we've held lately.
Oh,
we're the place to go. If
we set the world record for license plates. In our last auction, we sold a St. Louis one for, I think, $15,000. We sold a couple number one, 1928, 1931 Illinois plates number one for $6,000 each. Mm-hmm. Early license plates are worth a lot of money. So if anybody knows where these Evanston license plates are, please call us.
And that's why we want to talk about why you want to put them in auction, not sell them on eBay. Do not put them in a garage sale.
Yeah, eBay's fine, but it's a lot of work, and you're going to end up spending 20%
at least.
And all your time. And if you don't have the knowledge how to describe these things and where to market them, you will lose money.
We're your guys, that's for sure. Again, just
even keywords can cost you thousands of dollars if you don't know the right titles.
Right.
Oh, good point. Yes, because people search by certain words like mills and stock ticker and coin op, things like that. But don't go anywhere, folks, because I want you to tune in next week. We're going to have another interesting show about our upcoming auctions. And you're listening to the Donley Auctions Hour right here every Saturday on AM 560. But for now, I'm Susan.
I'm Mike.
I'm Randy.
And we'll see you at the auction.
Thanks for listening to the Donley Auctions Hour on AM 560, The Answer. Check out all the latest information on upcoming auctions and collectibles at DonleyAuctions.com. And while you're there, you can contact someone about buying or selling your collectibles or estates. That's DonleyAuctions.com.